Yeah, he lent me a pencil or a pen.
Yeah.
It was a pen.
Yeah, it was a pen.
That I probably kept. And
love at first sight kind of thing, was it?
I just thought Kate looked really nice, and the opportunity to lend Kate a pen was like, it was during some sort of creative session, crit, and Kate's like, I haven't got a pen. I'm like, I've got a pen. Yeah.
Marry me.
Back in Leicester, and that's when I was walking up London Road with my sister, and this fella came along, and he said he would take me back home to the foster parent. So he got lovely eyelashes, and he got very black shiny shoes. So I thought, oh, you'll do. So he took me back to this foster home, and it turned out he was a policeman. So it was so strange that I thought, well, I've got to have a policeman.
sure, it was your destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was very much looking for the wrong thing when I was younger.
What were you looking for when you were younger?
Looks and money.
Honest?
Excitement, I think.
Yeah.
Excitement. We have a very dull life in some ways.
Yeah.
We spend most of it on our own together. But that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't have wanted that then, though.
I think the advice I would give is make sure it's what you want to do, because I think I really got married from pressure from my parents, and I think that's why I got married. If they hadn't been behind me pushing, I certainly would not have got married.
You know, I had set up really nice for a romantic evening, candlelight. You know, I cooked what I thought was nice food.
Kind to me here, isn't
yeah, okay. And I opened the door, and I think you were actually crying before you even...
No, it was when you said, are you all right?
Oh, okay, I said, are you all right? But then she almost immediately started crying.
It's weird when people say that to you.
And in the middle of all this, she sort of said, you know, can you turn the lights on? She
doesn't like the dark.
She doesn't like the dark, you know, she doesn't like candlelight. And so within about 5 minutes, everything had changed. But the thing that was for me was really, I was going to say crucial. I don't think it was crucial, but it was really an eye-opener for me. I gave her a hug at one point, fairly early on, and she was hugging me back and saying, receive. Yield, she was saying. And I thought, what is she on about? You know, she's the one that's upset. I'm being the strong man giving her a hug. And no one before had ever given that back to me at that kind of point, you know, and it was like, I didn't even, you know, I know how to be very weak and being held by someone looking after me, but if I wasn't used to the equality. Is that a fair enough way of saying it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Exactly how it is. No, it's not all sweetness and light. You know what I mean? Living on a cloud of cuckoo land, it's like actually quite hard to be married, isn't it? You know, it's about washing the clothes and going and getting the shopping and doing the cleaning and all that, cleaning the toilet stuff.
How soon did it lose the rope? I suppose you had a baby quite quickly, didn't you?
That's right. I mean, so it didn't last long, did it? Do you know what I mean? So any romanticism went out the window. I think, you know, as soon as you got a baby, that's it, isn't it?
Did well to stick together, though. To be honest, a lot of
people just.
I don't think we would have, if we'd met when we were younger, we would not have liked each other.
No.
I think we needed this, our lives to...
But it's also quite difficult. After all these... John was on his own for 20 years. I'd never lived with anyone. So it's not all roses, is it? We argue a lot.
No.
Because neither of us are very good at living with anybody. And we're both cantankerous.
Well, you are.
It's funny as well, because people, like the whole, if you're married, people take you instantly more seriously as a couple.
As a society.
Yeah,
people take you more seriously.
Yeah, society does.
And that's kind of what we wanted to avoid, that whole, how society sees people and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, why do you have to conform? But then we kind of gave in.
Yeah. All right.
It sort of means, as I said, devoting myself to the dignity of life. Bob wasn't practising then. He was sitting there and there were people behind us chanting, and there were people who didn't practice and who weren't chanting. And for me, I determined that I would change, if there were problems, I would change my karma to suffer in this way, not change the man.
Yeah, the one thing that's interesting about weddings is you can divorce the husband, but you can't get rid of the father. So I still have a sort of contact with my ex-husband through my son. Can't get away from that. We try not to discuss it, but he does sometimes come out with, "Oh, and Dad said," don't want to know. I really don't want to know.
The money's not important, and the money and the venue and all that doesn't really matter. As long as the person you're marrying is the right person, then it doesn't. All those things are very pleasant, I suppose, if you can afford them. But they're not important, really.
Yes, I'd been married. I got married when I was about 20, and I had 3 children by that marriage. And it went after about 12 years. And I'd been on my own. And I think had I stayed on my own, I certainly would not have bothered to survive the cancer. It was only having Rachel and that relationship that gave me something to fight for.
But I don't regret it. It was just a wonderful time in my life.
I can see it when you say that.
It was really wonderful.
You
yes.
You light up.
I did light up.
Yeah.
And the photographs show that.
Oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Is he? Do you have any connection with him?
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
You know, he's got his own life. He's got a young family now, and it's occasionally we communicate.
You've changed each other's lives.
Yeah.
Even so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And we parted, you know, still with that love there.
Rather than grind on until it's...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes you have to let go.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody else, you know, the person you love wants something different.
Yeah.
Best to let go.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really mad, but actually at the end of the day, I don't think it matters who you marry. I think it all turns out the same anyway. And that's a very cynical view.
How do you mean?
Well, I just think that if you're a certain character a certain way, and you know, most marriages just turn out the same. So actually, it doesn't, you know, as long as you like the look of them and you like them, you know, I mean, then actually they make you laugh. I think that's a funny thing. If they make you laugh a bit, you know, then actually it's all right. You know, you can. But I think, you know, that's why arranged marriages actually tend to last longer than our romantic marriage. You know, so.